This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. Once again, I am an FBC, finished basement company, since 1997. They have helped you design, collaborate, and build the basement of your dreams. I'm here with Patrick and Samantha. Guys, thanks so much for joining us here today. Patrick, let's start off a little bit about yourself as the founder, president. Let's be real, not everyone gets to work on what they love. Their passion, day in and day out. You have done it 1,000 times over. You've created projects, spaces, areas of joy for people that hopefully they will understand you enjoy doing it all the while as well. Share with me how this got started for you.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for over 20 years. And my dad used to always say that if you have a job you love, you never work a day in your life. And I truly feel like I've never worked a day in my life. And Sam might agree with that. No, we started out 20 years ago really with, I had this dream of building a company. And building a company based on that would start, knowing that if we really focused on basements, we'd have that niche and we'd be able to get really, really good at it. And so now, 20 years later, we've done thousands of basements. And along the way, what happened was that people would start to say, hey, can you do our kitchen? Can you do our bathroom? And after saying no, 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 there gets to be a point where you said, all right, well, let's see what we can do for these folks. And we did that. And so as the company evolved, we evolved, doing basements for sure. We opened up in new markets. So in Minneapolis and then Chicago. And so we're in 3 markets. We're one of the larger design build firms in the nation. But the core of our business has always been to figure out complex spaces, how to really design those spaces to get the most out of it, to get the most of it for the client. And along that way, for me, as the founder of the business, what I've found is at first we started looking at projects and how do we get clients and how do we build basements, right? Well, along the way, I've really found that it's really more than that. It's all about like how do you create success for people? And so when we started looking at that, we looked at it first for our team, because if we have designers and project managers that are successful, then we know that the projects are going to be successful for our clients. So we looked at that. We really, really worked on that, but we found that success by itself wasn't enough. There was something else that was missing. And so I remember this like it was yesterday. So we had this offsite. We had just seen this amazing speaker, and everybody's mind was just going 100 miles an hour. And we're thinking about what's next for the company. And our design leader up in Minneapolis, she said, it's not a number. It's not what I want to do more for our people. And something came up, and the word joy came up in that meeting. And that word joy, we looked it up, and we saw that there's this definition of joy that says the presence of success and well-being. And we said, all right, so we've been so focused on the success of our team and the success of these projects. What about the well-being side of it? And that really and truly has changed everything as we continue to grow in this business.
I mean, that business model is it's a holistic approach to business. I mean, this model, was that something that attracted you? You've been with the company now for a couple of years. Samantha, you're a designer. Share with me how you got involved.
Yeah, so I started with the company about 2.5 years ago, and I came here because I was so excited about building spaces for people and changing people's lives through space. And it wasn't until a year ago that I stopped really looking at the results, and I more focused on like, okay, who is in front of me right now, and how do I bring that love and joy to them that I'm feeling. So what brought me to this company though is the culture and the interview process. I got to meet 4 amazing people through that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I definitely have to be here. Everybody's so happy to be here, and it's really about changing people's lives. Yeah.
I mean, that is excellent. I mean, like you said, you've built a company now that's really across the nation in multiple cities. Denver is still your home base. Denver, real estate's booming here. Things are happening here. as homeowners, we almost want to use every square inch of our home. That's how we are. Would you say that an unfinished basement is not only a waste of vision, but really maybe a waste of value as well?
I think it really depends on what's going on for the people in their lives. I think most of the time when people come to us, they're saying, hey, we have a life change that's occurring. And maybe that life change is that financially they're ready to do it. It could be that they have new family members coming in. It could be that their family has grown up a little bit. Like sometimes when you have young kids, the idea of a empty, unfinished basement that they can romp around in actually works out pretty well. But as they get to be a little older and they think, hey, I want all the friends coming over to our house, then when you finish that basement, it really becomes the kind of the draw, the thing that brings in all the kids so that mom and dad know that their kids are home, they're safe, they're kind of underfoot, so to speak. Right. So I think it's as much life changes that has people call us, and same for a tired kitchen or a bath remodel, it ends up being they want to be able to have more community over, more family over. They want to be able to entertain. They want to be proud of their space too. Mm-hmm.
I mean, definitely proud of your space. Like you say, life changes, and maybe they've had this vision for some time. Now they're in a financial space where they can do that. Regardless, the vision always begins. People want to experience it in their mind, but yet eventually it has to become a design. Mm-hmm. Is the communication at the initial meeting with the client, how important is the communication to really hear what they're going to do with that space?
Yeah, I'm going to give this one to Sam.
Yeah.
You got it, Sam.
So really it's about getting to know each other. It's not about being an order taker. It's not about giving somebody a bedroom or a bathroom. It's about how is it going to be used? Who's going to be staying in that bedroom? For what amount of time? Do they have any special kind of considerations in that bathroom? How are they going to use the space? What kind of memories are they going to be creating? And it's really diving deep on who that person is and how they're going to use that space versus, okay, I'll just do exactly what you told me to do.
I mean, as a designer, your favorite has to be like a blank slate, or it's just blank down there. We can do whatever. Is it important to you to create not just a space that's separate from the house, but really the entire house? It all flows together. You're not just adding more space, but you're actually trying to create that favorite space where they're going to hang out.
Yeah, it's super fun to work with a blank space, but I'd say that even more fun to work with is the challenges that you come across. So you walk down into a basement, maybe they have super challenging ceilings and they have all these things that drop below the joist, and it's like, how do you make that look pleasant and feel like the upstairs of your house or a lower level versus we've all been into a basement that feels like a dungeon and feels basement-y. So that's what we try to do here, is make those spaces feel like they can make memories in them.
After that initial home visit, you do some measurements possibly. It seems that now the dream meets technology. The CAD system is something he's done for many years. Does that really help paint a picture of what they're going to experience before that it actually happens?
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite thing, is you show them on paper the plan and they're pretty excited, and then you pop it up on 3D, and maybe you have their favorite photo in their basement from their upstairs, and they can really see themselves living in that space and feel like what it's like for the first time, because anybody can show them a 2D drawing, but to pop it up in 3D and you can be like, okay, so this is where your family is going to sit down and watch movies. This is where you guys are going to play ping pong every weekend. This is where you're going to be creating memories.
After the CAD has been done, this is really where your team is able to kind of show off their experience. I mean, provide multiple designs to choose from. This is where you collaborate with the client once again, and they start seeing this kind of become a reality and probably see some designs that they never even thought was possible in that space.
Yeah, I would love to speak to that, because the design team is phenomenal. And here is what they always do. Like you as a homeowner, you have an idea of what the space could be like. It doesn't matter what type of a remodel. You've been thinking about it and you have some ideas. And and if we do our job really well, we pull out all of those ideas. And so one plan will look very much like what you had in mind, maybe with some tweaks on it that we've brought to the table. But then we take all of that information that we've gotten, and then we combine it with the expertise of 20 years of design experience. And we have, how many designers company-wide? 15, 20? 15 designers. And we're working, collaborating across the different design teams where everybody is putting their input on those projects. And then the second plan that we show is like kind of that mind-blowing, like, wow, we never thought of that. Mm-hmm. And we're taking the ideas that they had and combining it with the experience of our 20 years of doing design build work.
Mm-hmm. You're definitely, the wow factor exists at that point. So it's that point where the hair stands up and they realize this is far beyond what I even thought was possible. I mean, using 3D renderings, there's no surprises. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like you wait till the end of the project to realize, oh, we have a problem. The 3D renderings give a feeling of space. Is that a technology that you see continuing in the future for you?
Oh, I think it's not only the technology into the future, but we're working right now on how do we bring virtual reality goggles into it, and there's the future is exciting as can be in that area. I predict that within the next 12 to 16 months, we'll be able to put goggles on folks and have them be in their home and actually see their new space before it's actually built. And the nice thing about when you're doing it in 3D and you're doing it in virtual is it's a lot cheaper to move a wall, when it's in CAD. Yeah. It's just a couple clicks of a mouse, right?
Yeah.
Much easier. Yeah. Don't have to worry about the electric in it or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, once they basically are signing off on that final design that they want. They're looking at the starting date. They're looking at the estimated time that it's going to be complete, the cost, that type of things. Is that where you actually hand this over to the project manager and he's the go-to guy and he's going to keep them in the loop?
We actually have a team of 3 of us here. So you not only get a experienced space planning designer, but you also get a design specialist who focuses on color, material, and then executing those design details. Very, very analytical women that we work with. And then you get a project manager as well. So that design specialist really bridges the gap. So as designers, we work throughout the entire project. We still are behind the computer, seeing the project every single day on this app that we have, Builder Trend, and we get to see photos and updates and all of that. But then you get a design specialist that goes out about once a week, and then your project manager is at your project every single day. Yeah. So, and we work together in the office constantly.
The project manager is involved early in the project. Mm-hmm. So it's not a handoff per se, because it's a team. That team is together, really from as soon as we know what design we're going with, that project manager gets involved, because the issues that come up in construction are always an issue of taking a vision into reality. Yeah. And the project manager, he's all about reality. And so we bring him in early, and he's part of that team moving it forward. And that's why our jobs run smooth. They finish on time. That's why there's none of the big surprises that you hear about. We put so much energy and effort into getting the detail up front and making sure that we've kind of built it, modeled it in the computer and on the project timeline, and with we do all of that up front before we ever start the project, and that's how things go so smoothly.
A lot of moving pieces just for one project, quite honestly. 7 to 16 weeks, that's a pretty short period of time. For a complete transformation of something that you couldn't even use before. Is that an exciting time for you to kind of show off, not only are we building great, but they're going to be glad they chose a professional? A courteous team, respectable team, and a clean team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the greatest part, I think, about our process, too, is that it's made for people who want to be involved but also don't want to be involved. We really only require a homeowner to be involved about 5 hours of that 7 to 16 weeks on the project. And it's so collaborative. And like Patrick was saying before, we take care of all the details up front so that it is so smooth in construction. They can literally leave for the entire duration of the project. And it's going to be completed exactly how those renderings show.
I've seen do-it-yourselfers go into their basement, putting the place together, pulling their hair out quickly because they realize they're in over their head. I mean, the pieces that are involved, we're talking HVAC, electric, sometimes plumbing, inspections that need to be done. You're really creating a headache-free experience for these folks. And ultimately, when you hand over and open the door to that basement for them, they really haven't stressed out too much. They've kind of enjoyed the experience throughout.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we often hear is like, okay, well, what's the next project going to be? Because they do. It's an enjoyable experience. I mean, it's so many people have gotten into and enjoy watching HGTV, and we certainly cue off of that, and we try to make it that type of an experience where they're able to walk downstairs every day and say, "Wow, I can't believe everything that's happened today," and the communication is critical because there are some days where there's inspections or something else is happening that there isn't a lot of movement on a project, and we're making sure that we're communicating that as well.
But like she said, as a designer, she even looks forward to those challenges every day to be able to press through and hit the deadline on those. Beyond the basement, up above, if somebody wants a project, maybe a historic renovation, a remodel, is that something that is possible through the company?
Oh, absolutely. Is it possible? And we have learned to streamline that process as well. We love to take an old space and make it brand new for somebody again. We love to see, like Patrick was saying before, we show two options for all of our clients. One being our best rendition of their design, and then something that's completely different. And a lot of the times it is a blend of the two things. So taking those maybe older homes, historic homes, or just a facelift and giving them something completely brand new, and how they're going to function is...
Because let's face it, the basement of the 1940s is not the basement of today. I mean, I'm sure those basements provided joy as well, but these basements today, I mean, you walk down there and they're an extension of your entire home. You're hanging out down there, you don't realize you're in a basement.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's certain design elements that we've learned over the years, certain ways to make the ceilings feel much higher, to give the space flow, just tricks that we've learned that make a basement not feel like a basement.
When you look back and you realize that these folks have trusted you with their vision, they have trusted you to do what you say you're going to do, which is provide a space for me that I can enjoy, my family can enjoy. We're not going to be embarrassed of. We're going to want to hang out all the time. Does this continue to be rewarding for you? When you see those images come back and you see those reviews of people who are just excited to maybe jump into the next project?
Yeah. What excites me the most is the impact that it has. When you have a space that's really well thought out, that people want to be in, then that invites community. That invites family, that invites friends and entertainment. All of the time that people have together and that quality time that people have together, that's what gets me so excited, is thinking about the memories that are going to be created in those spaces.
Which basically equals joy, the mission statement of the entire company. Yeah, viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen. Basically, you're going to see their website. On the website, you can see all the services they provide. Check out the steps on the basement. They make it very clear. It's very transparent what's going to happen. Matter of fact, it's not an overwhelmed feeling at all. I mean, when you're doing a project, you can become very overwhelmed with details. That's really not fun. I mean, you really want to be enjoying the vision and working with a professional that is not only going to create that vision for you, but take it a step up and above where you look and say, this is more than I even anticipated. The website is set up in a great way that can walk you through the steps, understand that there's not just one individual with a vision, but an entire team that is right there in your corner, able to answer the questions for you. Set up a free consultation. This is a company that began back in 1997. Quite honestly, the word got out before anything, before their phones were even hooked up. People were seeking out this company. That again is FBC, the Finished Basement Company located right here in Denver, Colorado. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.